I made a video the other day covering this video interview of Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox, recorded Fortune magazine conversation called Inside Xbox's Strategy to Rule Gaming with President Sarah Bond next to lead. And in that video, I made a couple comments about how it feels like Sarah Bond is a DEI hire. And more information has come out since that conversation took place that can actually point directly to proving that she is actually a DEI hire and nothing more than that. And that's based off of her own words, where she used to work at, which was a company called McKinsey and Company. McKinsey and Company, an American multinational strategy and managing consulting firm that offers professional services to corporations, governments, and other organizations. Founded in 1926 by James O. McKinsey, it's the oldest and largest MBB management consultancy. The firm mainly focuses on the finances and operations of clients. Very curious when you start diving a little bit further into this. This is Crooked Delight. It says smash about Mrs. DEI Bond. Nepotism and meh degree from overseas, and husband who's a Caucasian flavor. My daddy was a telecom CEO. Mom, AT&T picked me. T-Mobile to Microsoft, all on a Yale, Harvard MBA degree. Add toilet flush sound. They omit she's part of Tyson's Food Board also. So this is the early life. Bond was born in Morristown, New Jersey, October 1978. One of 7 siblings. Her father was a telecom CEO, and her mom worked technology at AT&T before transitioning to philanthropy. Bond spent part of her childhood overseas in the UK for 10 years for her education before returning to the US. She's an economics grad from Yale and holds an MBA from Harvard. Bond commenced her career as an associate partner at McKinsey and Company, transitioning to T-Mobile. She held key roles, including chief of staff to CEO John Legere and later senior vice president of corporate strategy and development. In 2017, Bond joined Microsoft, starting as a corporate vice president overseeing gaming business development and partnerships at Xbox. She later assumed position of corporate vice president of game creator experience and ecosystem, played a pivotal role representing Microsoft during the scrutinized bid to acquire Activision Blizzard, testifying at the 2022 FTC versus Microsoft trial, received Visionary Award, GamesBeat, contributions to the industry, promoted to president of Xbox, reportedly directing to Microsoft gaming CEO Phil Spencer. Beyond Microsoft, Bond serves on the boards of organizations such as Zora, Chegg, and the ESA, also Tyson Foods. And there's Sarah Bond. I guess that's on Instagram. And you might be wondering, well, what does McKinsey have anything to do with DEI? Well, I took to ChatGPT for this. I said, is McKinsey and Company considered a DEI organization? That was literally my only prompt. Yes, McKinsey and Company is actively involved in diversity, equity, and inclusion work, both internally for its own organization and externally as part of its consulting services. Here are some details to clarify what that means and how to interpret it. McKinsey has a dedicated section on its website for DEI, explaining how it helps organizations build a more inclusive workforce and outlining proprietary tools to measure inclusion. Publishes research titles, things like Diversity Matters, The Case for Holistic Impact, which explicitly links diversity, equity, and inclusion to business performance. In 2025, McKinsey affirmed it will keep diversity on the agenda, despite external pressures, i.e., they are continuing or reaffirming DEI commitments, despite President Trump saying, do not do this. It is illegal. Some critics argue that large consultancies' DEI work may also serve business/brand goals rather than purely altruistic ones. You could argue that Microsoft themselves looked at Sarah Bond as, hey, we need some DEI representation at the top of our organization because that's what our values are. because we report directly to the World Economic Forum and these other organizations, and we need low interest loans. We need to make sure there's DEI involved here. Let's just bring in, insert token Black woman at charge of company, because what could possibly go wrong? And no one, at least I didn't see anyone say anything about this until this interview, when she talked about how, yeah, sure, I totally was a gamer. I played King's Quest with my dad when I was a little girl, which was the only game she mentions when she talked about gaming younger, and made it seem like it's just her and her dad. Meanwhile, you do a little bit more research, and she's got 6 other siblings or 7 other siblings, other people in her family. I'd imagine her dad wasn't one-on-one caring about video games with her all too often. Never know, but I'm gonna just take a guess on that one.
So now you enter the gaming industry. What was the biggest learning curve once you had stepped into the sector?
Well, the learning curve was very steep.
How could it be a very steep learning curve if you're a gamer with experience as a CEO? Where is the learning curve?
I came new to the team. There's so many things about gaming that you see as a player and you don't appreciate as actually what it takes to make them come to fruition.
For example,
Well, look, you have to learn all of the economics of
This is such a telegraphed interview. For example,
gaming, for example. Like there's subscription business model, there's a free-to-play business model, there's a pay-to-play business model, there's advertising models.
you're in charge of those, Sarah. I don't know how to tell you this, but you are supporting those by having those a part of your business model. You are literally the person in charge of that. How do you not know about any of this stuff when you came into it? Holy shit.
There's the business of making hardware, actually picking silicon, investing in a profile.
How much you want to bet? That's a freeze frame. How much you want to bet she had nothing to do with picking the silicon? How much? How much? Don't you think that they have actual experts that understand that stuff at the studio, at the company, at Microsoft?
Bringing it to market. There's all of the publisher relationships that exist.
Are we
You know, before I-
are we really to believe that they brought this chick in that has no idea about the value of silicon parts and what it costs to put a system together, and put her in charge of deciding that stuff? What? How stupid does she think people are?
Worked at T-Mobile, and wireless it's first in all U.S. business, and there's just a few players that you need to think about. In gaming, there's thousands of game developers to work with, and those game developers are all around the world. So almost every part of the business system, I had experienced it as someone who loves gaming and enjoyed it, but I had to learn it from the other side of the mechanics of how it actually worked.
That right there proves to me that she is a DEI hire. They didn't bring in someone experienced. They didn't bring in someone that knew jack shit about anything. They brought in someone from a DEI organization and said, hey, you're in charge here. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, let me point people to the state of Microsoft right now. And tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong by saying this person is not suited or fit for the position. Someone make that argument, please.
I remember when I first joined the team, actually, I used to wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning before the day started and go through my email super carefully, read each and every message, figure out what I understood in that, what I didn't understand in that, sort of circle or highlight the thing.
You know what I worry about the future with this stuff? I talked about this the other day too. AI is very concerning because AI is going to enable a lot of fucking idiots out there to just be like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Let me go put this email into AI and AI, tell me what the hell this even means. Give me the TLDR because it's a lot of words here. And also tell me how to respond to this. Actually, just write the response for me. That's pretty fucking scary.
Because I didn't understand, and make sure by the end of the day that I had learned those things, or that I understood what those definitions and what those terms were, so I could build a rubric in my head of how the whole system actually interlocked together. In some ways, I'm grateful for that, like, because I look back on it now, and the fact that it wasn't assumed that I would know things, and so I felt super free to ask questions and verify things and check with the team. built this really strong foundation where it's like, okay, now I actually understand how all of the things click together. And how,
Yeah, I think she should be very concerned because for the past, I don't know, decade, anyone couldn't say jack shit about this. They'd be like, you're a racist or you're a sexist, or oftentimes you're a transphobe or a homophobe with other people that fit those check marks. We're at the point right now where society's like, no, fuck all that. Just cut right through it and say, yeah, no, I don't give a shit what you call me. You're not fit for this job. It's not racism. It's not sexism. You just don't know jack shit about what you're doing. And I care more about Microsoft's direction with Xbox than I do about you. So I'm going to speak the reality and not give a shit about what people think about me. Because I've fucking had it. I've fucking had it with this shit. This is Sarah Bond, an executive, current president of Xbox at Microsoft. My assessment over on ChatGPT. Yes, McKinsey is a DEI active organization. It embraces, promotes, and sells DEI services and integrates DEI into research and client offerings. It is primarily a broad strategy consulting firm whose offerings include DEI among many others. And again, only prompt was to ask it if it's a DEI organization, pulling in all the information from what McKinsey is. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case. This is a DEI hire. I don't know what more to tell people, but at this point, if Microsoft's going to continue with this character being the president of it, leading forward, don't be surprised when Microsoft falls apart when it comes to gaming and does not create any products in the future. And you could even argue at this point, probably shouldn't, because the Steam machine is already eating their lunch on what Microsoft should have done 3 years ago. At this point, whatever Microsoft moved forward with for the Xbox, the brand is dead. It's completely ruined, thanks to the direction they've taken it over the past 5 to 8 years. They have no one to blame but themselves. And I don't think at this point it can even be recovered. But I guess time will tell. Anyways, I'll leave that there because I'm going to have an aneurysm. Again. Microsoft is one of the last DEI holdouts. They absolutely are. That's a good point, Karate Werewolf. I did not think of that. I'm missing the bigger picture. What's really important is how gay and queer she is. It's a very good point.